Animals move across the land, migrating in response to shifting resources, changing climates, breeding conditions, and the constant risks of survival. Over long stretches of time, these movements quietly form something like an intricate network of roots, a vast systems of living pathways that continually adjust to changes in the environment. Occasionally, subtle shifts and misalignments emerge, creating slight deviations. It is then that humans begin to notice something unusual. Those who first sensed these anomalies were often hunters and herders, those who moved through remote and uncultivated landscapes. From their accounts, it was learned that in certain regions, animals had suddenly disappeared, while in other places, species appeared that did not seem to belong there. For some, this brought losses, for others, unexpected gains. Yet these anomalies seem to defy explanation within any existing order or model. Some witnesses recalled that before these changes occurred, they had seen unfamiliar presences drifting across the sky. Some described them as creatures. Others, however, believed it more closely resembled some kind of flying entity. This drew the attentions of researchers, among them those drawn to unexplained phenomena. With the incomplete, uncertain, yet undeniably crucial fragments that the witnesses offered, a tentative picture begins to emerge. According to witnesses, sometimes they appeared in groups, sometimes only 2 or 3 could be seen. Their bodies were said to be enormous, yet strangely seemed floaty. Structures extending from both sides sway in irregular motions, occasionally accompanied by sound. Some describe the sound as a scream, others recall a low, wavering hum, like the unstable breath of a flute trembling in the air. The main body appears draped, resembling a veil of fabric. The first light spreads slowly from its surface, and within the haze, there lingers a faint, suspended quality of dawn. Cool, condensed, almost tangible. It evokes what we have long imagined a phantom might look like. As research continued, investigators began comparing locations of sightings with changes in animal activity. Its presence appears to be closely associated with these irregularities. They seem to linger within certain areas, circling repeatedly, almost as if ensuring that no living creatures remained within the territory. Such activity could last for hours, or in some cases continue for years, and not long after their appearance, the surrounding regions often experienced varying degrees of instability or unrest. Researchers began attempting to reconstruct possible patterns in their movements. Through model reconstruction, researchers attempt to extrapolate, to imagine what cannot yet be fully observed. Within what appears to be empty air, vast flows of electromagnetic waves, signals, and complex streams of information are in constant motion. These streams pass through their bodies that resemble veils woven with optical fibers, registering signals we are able to interpret, and those that remain beyond our comprehension. Diffuse, ambiguous, and political in nature. These flows pass along lateral structures, metallic in appearance, perhaps organs or constructed forms, where irregular calls between 25 and 50 kHz are emitted, resembling alarm and distress signals of various species. Diffuse tensions and unspoken fear seems to be mixed into the surrounding air, carried within fluid-like currents, and somehow translated into the realm beyond the human. They appear capable of sensing conflicts before they occur, detecting, within silence, the faintest trace of smoke not yet released. Through them, we seem to glimpse a world that is profoundly shaped by human systems, yet difficult to fully perceive. The decisions of a few individuals, the game played between leaders, their reckless words and gestures, become forces that ripple outward, forming currents akin to atmospheric flows or oceanic circulation. Within these invisible currents, they drift passively, like debris carried by ocean gyres, gathering in regions where tension accumulates. There, they disperse local animal populations, exiling them from habitats that will no longer be able to sustain life, compelling them to leave the homes they once inhabited. Then, they continue drifting, carried by the shifting currents of circumstances. Perhaps, the forces that shape these currents do not arise solely from the actions of a few. The true motive remains unknown. Yet, their behavior inevitably recalls animals once used as environmental sentinels, creatures such as canalis carried into coal mines, risking their lives to warn humans of unseen danger. This time, the warning is not for humans, but for those still unaffected by political unrest, those we call naive animals, urging them to leave before fire and artillery steal, and the violence of human conflict spread like a disease. Some researchers have begun to wonder, do these entities exist only in the skies above the land we see? Their presence may already be transforming what once belonged solely to human society, politics, into a new variable within the migration systems of animals. Perhaps in the future, their absence may itself become an ecological indicator. Animal protection groups might come to interpret their non-appearance as a sign of environmental stability, evidence that peace has been maintained. Yet some groups may deliberately create regional tensions and unrest in the hope of witnessing their appearance. Are these entities truly neutral? Can they be trusted as indicators of unfolding political conditions? Their existence may be forcing humanity to confront an unsettling realization that the forces generated by collective human behavior have already become deeply embedded within the ecosystem itself. Some have wondered whether they ever come to rest, whether they have a place to dwell. For those of us here now, such possibility seems to exist only in hope